Hi, folks. Welcome to We Be Fishing, the viewable podcast right here on YouTube. We're a spinoff version of the B&T Catfishing Adventure channel, and glad you joined us today. Hey, who is more important, professional fishermen or YouTubers in the catfishing world? Which is more important? You know, it's easy to say professional bass fishermen would be more important than, let's say, YouTubers, because the bass world has developed over the years, way before we had social media out there. And we learned about these people through, the Bass Angler Sportsman Society magazine and watching the fishing shows that were on TV. So we got to know a lot of these past and even present fishermen out there, these professionals. But in the catfishing world, it's a little different today. We do have all the social media, and YouTube plays a big part of that for fishing channels, ours included. But now, while we are not one of these channels that has hundreds of thousands of subscribers or millions, there are those out there, and they make a big impact in the fishing community. One reason I'm going to have to say the YouTubers have more power, in a sense, or potential power, is, here's a test. For instance, name 3. I was going to say 5, but let's just say 3 to make it easier. Let's name 3 professional catfishing tournament guys out there, and see if we can do it. Can you name 3 professional catfishermen out there today? Unless you're in the catfishing world of tournaments, you probably can't. But can you name 3 catfishing YouTubers or their channels? If you watch fishing at all and catfishing, then probably so. This is just a quick way of answering the question, who has more impact or control, in a sense, out there on what we do, how we fish, what we buy, so on and so forth. Now, I've mentioned this subject a year ago or 2 years ago. I did a story on professional catfishermen not having much influence over us. I was reawakened to this the other day. I came across a podcast, and it's Dieter Melhorn, and he speaks on this, basically this topic of the power of the YouTube fishermen versus the pros out there in a video. And I'm going to leave a link to his story here, his podcast, so you guys can catch that, as he may explain it even better than I do, or at least take a different angle on this or avenue. Now, as I talk about this, I'm talking about the influence that the people have on it. Now, this doesn't mean that the YouTubers are better fishermen. Now, while I say that, yes, the YouTubers, right, 3 of them just won a huge tournament over all these professional catfishermen out there. They beat them in a huge tournament. Now, is that going to happen every day that they go out there and have a tournament? Probably not, let's be honest. But there's a lot of great fishermen out there that don't even on a regular basis fish tournaments, if at all. So just being a professional doesn't mean you're the best in the world out there. Let's get that straight right off the bat. There's a lot of great fishermen that cannot afford to travel around the country, stay up in hotels for 2 or 3 days before the tournament begins, where they can do some pre-fishing, and then enter the tournament, some of them at pretty high entry fees, and so on. And just the food and all this stuff, if you don't have financial backing to do that, or the means yourself, then you're probably not going to go that route of a tournament trail cat fisherman. It's probably not going to be something that you can afford and won't do. So there's more of those people out there that can't do that than can do that. And a lot of them are great fishermen. Now, we look at the power that comes with being a professional cat fisherman and being a entertainment fisherman, such as like on YouTube here. Many of these professionals, they may make their rounds to these different tournaments and events out there, these shows and so on. But if you're not seeing them several times a week or daily in some cases, you probably don't know who these people are, right? Now, if we contrast that to Major League Fishing, where or some of these other bass things out there, the Bass Angler Classic, Sportsman Society and their Classic and all that. We see these on the tournament still often, but we're not seeing it from the cat fishermen. And just like Major League Fishing, they put their tournaments online, so you can watch them live online. Something that these catfishing tournaments may want to consider, so you can actually get to know who's out there fishing. As a rule, I don't know when these tournaments are, because I don't personally follow it. Now, if it was more, in the mainstream media, social media world out there, put out there more regularly, I might see it. And if it was posted out there live events, I would probably watch it. But as of right now, I'm not seeing it. It doesn't mean some groups out there don't do it, but I'm not seeing this on a large scale. And it has an effect. It has an effect on the people that would view and are unable to view. When it comes to spending power, that's right. These people are selling rods and reels and clothing and so on and so forth for these major companies out here, but nobody, percentage-wise, knows who these people are, right? Yet, on the other hand, we were able to probably name 3 YouTubers fishing shows, catfishing shows, right? We could probably name those easily right off the top of our head. And you can probably even name more than that if you give it a little time. These people have thousands of viewers and millions of views a lot of times on their channels. They have reached far more people than these professional catfishermen do. And there's power in that reach. And that power is not being tapped in a lot or enough by these manufacturing companies, right, of rods and reels and all this equipment, or the tournaments out there. Now, for you tournament directors out there, here's something you may want to consider. How about hosting an event, a catfishing tournament for YouTube fishermen only? Now, this is an open event for everybody, let's say, that has a monetized channel. So even the smaller YouTube guys like myself would be able to be in this tournament if we wish to do so, right? And whether you make it a 1-day or a 2-day event, you host an open tournament, right? And it would be a good idea if all these different companies out there would sponsor these YouTubers so they could get out there and compete in the event, even if it's just for that show. It doesn't have to be a long-term agreement with those YouTubers. Just for the tournament, you're going to back a particular group of YouTubers to fish that open tournament event. Now, obviously, these YouTubers are probably going to carry the event, your tournament, live, or they're going to do a show on it later on, and people are going to know about your tournament. They're also going to know about the sponsors, and that's where this all comes in. That's where the money comes in, right, for the tournament. Now, after you do this and you have this open tournament, right, then you're going to have a classic, right, or a big tournament just for those top tier winners from that open tournament, right? And you may want to have a couple of those open tournaments, this side of the country, that side of the country, north, south, whatever. And then you bring the top tier people together for that classic. Man, what an event, right? And think about all the viewers you would get. These are people that others have invested time in to get to know who these people are, the method of, that they use to fish. And you've probably learned from these guys some techniques yourself already. So you're pulling for these guys out there. These professionals, we're not really pulling for them because we don't know who they are. And that's no offense to them. That's just a promotional type thing on getting them out there. Again, a lot of people don't show up at the expos. So if you don't go to the expos, you're not going to see these pros at the expo. A lot of these people don't see your event. So again, they're not going to know who these pros are. Some of these guys' names are appearing on fishing rods and stuff. Well, first off, to all you companies that want to put their name on a fishing rod and stuff, I personally don't buy anything that's got somebody else's name on it as a rule. All right. I never wear a t-shirt that's got another man's name on it on my back. Never have. All right. So there you go. Maybe something to consider there. That doesn't mean if somebody's holding up a product and endorsing a product that I don't buy it. But I don't buy something because a person's name is on it. All right. Matter of fact, I do just the opposite and avoid it. All right. Matter of fact, a company that I get some of my fishing rods from has that. And on the type of rods that I like, I'm not going to buy those rods anymore. That's just me. So not only do you've got to figure out how to merchandise and promote your products, you got to find out what doesn't work. Like I said, somebody pointing to something, smiling, taking a picture with it is the one thing. Putting their name on it is something else. So there you go. Professional fishermen, their day is out there on the water and getting that big paycheck. But they're really not giving all these companies the bang for the buck that they could be getting versus if they had used YouTubers instead of these professional fishermen. Guys, I hope you understand what I'm talking about here and the power that these companies could have, how these tournaments could make more money, be more productive, reach more people, right? And that's the name of it. If you're trying to promote something, you want to reach as many people as possible. And your YouTubers are going to give you far more reach than the professionals out there. So there you go. That's just my take on it, folks. I believe the YouTubers have a lot of power. Now, what I encourage the professionals out there to do is have more of a presence out there in the fishing world. And again, it's, YouTube channels and doing things like that and being up in front of the camera and stuff is not for everyone. It's a lot of work. It's not all fun and games. And for some people, it steals your passion when you've got to worry about making sure the camera's on for every catch that you catch and fish that you pull in. You're not just focused on the fishing. You're focused on camera angles and making sure that everything is working. You're doing a couple of jobs at one time. So, I get it. That's not for everyone. But if you have YouTube channels, and again, this is to those professionals out there, it helps to get who you are out there a little better. And it promotes your brand. It promotes the companies that sponsor you. And, it's going to help everybody all the way around. It's going to help the sport of fishing as well. Anyway, that's my take. Like I said, folks, I'm going to leave the link down to Mr. Dieter Melhorn's podcast as well. You can check that out, and he'll give you more insight on his take on the power of the YouTube fisherman versus that of the professional cat fishermen out there. And that's just where we're at with this today. This may change over the next few years, but right now, this is where we're at. And you've got to go with the hand you're dealt, right? And social media changed everything. So there you go. Anyway, you guys take care. Thanks for watching me. Be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. And we'll see you back here hopefully real soon at We Be Fishing. You guys take care.